In 1961, physicist Dirac went crazy after writing a number on the blackboard. He found that all the coincidences in the universe point to the same terrible conclusion. Someone is watching us. You think protons and electrons are random, a combination. Wrong. Their mass ratio is accurate to 36 decimal places. What is the concept of this accuracy? It's like you're putting a pencil on top of Mount Everest. It hasn't collapsed 5 billion years later. If this ratio deviates by 1/10,000, chemical reactions cannot occur. The water you drink will instantly decompose. Your body will explode like a firework. Nobel Prize winner Stephen Weinberg once gave colleagues call. He trembles on the phone and says, "I've worked out the cosmological constant. This number shouldn't exist. It's accurate to 120 decimal places. If this isn't the design, then our existence is the biggest joke in the history of the universe." But the weirder part is still to come. Physicists have discovered a surprising law. There are at least 26 fundamental constants. What is the constant? It's like a recipe for a cake. The proportions of flour and sugar water are all fixed values. Each must be tuned to an extremely precise value. Almost the entire universe would collapse, such as the strong nuclear force. It is the force that binds protons and neutrons together. If it's 2% weaker, atomic nuclei cannot form at all. There's just a bunch of hydrogen floating in the universe. Not even the simplest carbon element. But what if it's 2% stronger? The hydrogen atoms would fuse instantly after the Big Bang. The universe will become a porridge of iron. Nor will there be life. It's like walking a tightrope. A little off and you'll fall into the abyss. Look at the electromagnetic force. It determines how electrons spin around the nucleus. If the electromagnetic force is 4% strong, all the chemical bonds will be broken. Molecules can't exist stably. Your body will vaporize in 1 second. Weak 4%. Electrons are thrown out of their atomic orbits. The entire universe becomes a fog of electrons. Not even a planet could form. Even more frightening is gravity. This force that makes the apple fall to the ground. If it's 1/100,000 stronger, the stars will burn up too fast. It's too late to conceive life. Earth would have been engulfed by the sun as soon as it was formed. If it's 1/100,000 weak, galaxies can't coalesce. The universe would become a uniform cloud of gas. Forever dead silence. Some say it's a coincidence, but do you know how low the probability of such a coincidence is? Roger Penrose, a mathematician at the University of Oxford. The probability of the universe accidentally reaching this state is 10^1123 to the power of 10. How big is this number? If we treat every atom of the observable universe as a color ticket number, you win 1 trillion times in a row. The probability is higher than this. It's no longer a coincidence. It's more like someone is carefully debugging a super machine. But here comes the question. If there was a designer, why is he hiding? Why not carve a signature in the stars? Why not use a black hole to write, "I'm here"? This leads to a more terrifying possibility. Perhaps the concealment itself is part of the design. Imagine that, if you design a virtual world, the AI inside began to become self-aware. The last thing you should do is show up, because once you show up, all choices are no longer free. All resistance becomes a joke. The whole system collapsed. In 2012, physicists at MIT did an experiment. They simulated a simplified version of the universe. I wanted to see what would happen if I changed a constant. As a result, the computer ran for 3 days and 3 nights. Every scene on the screen is a dead silence. Either the universe collapses into a black hole 1 second after its birth, or forever inflate into nothingness. Either only hydrogen floats. No simulation has ever produced a complex universe like ours. Zeus. This experiment silenced the scientists, because it proves one thing. Our universe is not random. It's so special. And what's even weirder, dark energy is a mysterious force that accounts for 68% of the universe quantity. It's tearing up the entire universe to keep galaxies away from each other at an increasing rate. But the intensity of dark energy is also precisely tuned. If it were a little stronger, the universe would be torn apart before galaxies formed. If it's a little weaker, the universe would have collapsed back billions of years ago. Scientists have calculated the value of dark energy must be accurate to 122 decimal places. It's better than grabbing a handful of sand in the Sahara Desert. Just happened to catch the one your grandmother lost 30 years ago. 10,000 times more accurate. Caltech physicist Feynman once said, "If you take for your understanding of quantum mechanics, then you must not understand quantum mechanics." Why do you say that? Because the quantum world is a complete violation of common sense. An electron can be in many places at the same time. 2 particles can instantly sense each other, even millions of light years away. Even more frightening is the double-slit experiment. When you look at a particle, it will behave like a particle. When you're not looking at it, it becomes a wave again. What does this mean? It means that the act of observing itself changes reality. The 2022 Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to 3 researchers, quantum entanglement scientists. They proved that there is a connection at a distance in the universe. Once 2 particles are entangled, no matter how far apart, to change one of them, the other will respond instantaneously. This speed exceeds the speed of light, maybe even beyond time itself. Einstein called it ghostly action at a distance, because it's so weird enough to make people wonder if the universe is using something we can't see. Understand the way to connect everything together. Some physicists have put forward a bold hypothesis. Is the universe just one of countless universes? In the multiverse theory, there are countless universes being born all the time. Every universe has different physical constants. Most of the universe is dead. There are very few people like us who happen to have life conditions. This sounds like it solved the problem, but it really just puts the problem back a step. Who created the multiverse? Who set the rule that the universe can split? Princeton University physicist Paul Davies says the universe looks like it was made for life. This is not an exaggeration. It is the result of a mathematical calculation. He gave an example. If the resonance energy level of a carbon atom deviates 0.4%, carbon simply cannot be synthesized inside a star. Carbon is the basis of all life. Without carbon, there's no DNA. Without protein, there are no complex organic molecules. But more coincidentally, the energy levels of the oxygen atoms are also precisely tuned, just so that carbon can be synthesized. It's not immediately converted to oxygen. These 2 energy levels are like 2 locks, must be opened at the same time. The door of life will open. Some say, maybe we live in a simulation program. The whole universe is code. It's not science fiction. It is a theory seriously discussed by some leading scientists. SpaceX founder Musk said publicly, the probability that we live in the basic reality is only a few 1/100,000. Why? Because if a civilization is advanced enough, it certainly has the ability to create realistic simulated universes, and will create countless. So in terms of probability, we're more likely to live in a simulation, rather than the only underlying reality. Swedish philosopher Nick Bostrom proposed in 2003, simulation demonstration. He said that if the following 3 propositions are false, then we're probably living in a simulation. First, all civilizations will become extinct before they reach simulation capability. Second, all civilizations are not interested in simulation. Third, we're not in the simulation, but all 3 are difficult to establish. What does this mean? It means we're probably running on some supercomputer, a string of code. If that's the case, those physical constants that are accurate to metamorphosis are not difficult to explain. They are the parameters set by the programmer. Just like you adjust gravity, speed, and blood volume when you play a game. And those weird phenomena in the quantum world, probably just because the computer is saving computing resources. When you're not looking at an object, it doesn't need to be fully calculated. Just keep one probability wave. Only when you observe it, the system will render it. But this raises the question, if we are simulated, is the simulation of our civilization also modeled by a higher civilization intended? This becomes an infinite doll. Never find the original truth. Perhaps there is no such thing as basic reality. The whole existence is a dream of infinite return. In 2019, when physicists studied the cosmic microwave background radiation, found some unusual patterns. The distribution of these patterns is not random. Rather, it shows a certain regularity. It's like someone left a mark on purpose. Some scientists joked, could this be the designer's signature? Although most people think it's just a coincidence, but some people are starting to think seriously, if the designer wanted to leave evidence. I don't want to be too obvious. Could it be hidden in these details? Back to the original question, is the universe carefully designed? Science can't give a definitive answer, because whether it's design theory or chance theory, neither can be fully verified or falsified. But one thing is certain, our very existence is a miracle. Every atom in your body came from a star billions of years ago. The core, the iron in your blood was forged in a supernova explosion. The calcium in your bones was the remains of a dead star. From this perspective, whether the universe is designed or not, you're all part of the universe. You're not a bystander, not a passerby in the universe. You are the universe itself. The universe sees itself through your eyes. Understand yourself through your consciousness. Experience yourself through your presence. Maybe that's what's important. Instead of asking who designed the universe, but to understand. In this quiveringly precise universe, you can think about this. It is already the greatest miracle in itself. Hawking said before he was alive, the universe doesn't need God to start it, but that doesn't mean the universe doesn't make sense. Maybe